Hello, here we are again with another guide, and this time I will be diving into the anti-tank class, going over how to play AT, how to aim your bazooka or Panzerschreck over long ranges, how to use satchels, and some general tips and tricks. To start off, a basic introduction to the AT class. The AT class comes with 3 different loadouts. The basic loadout is unlocked from level 1, then level 3 you get the next loadout, and the last one you will get at level 6. The level 1 loadout on the American side has a bazooka that comes standard with 2 rockets. The German level 1 loadout has a Panzerschreck also with 2 rockets, and the Soviet comes with the PTRS-41 anti-tank rifle, and this one comes with magazines. The big changes between loadouts is that the level 3 loadout has the ability to place an anti-tank gun, like the PAK-40, and the level 6 ambusher loadout comes with a satchel. With each type of weapon, be it the bazooka or satchel, you can destroy garrisons, OPs, and of course, tanks. Satchels are especially useful for clearing out highly contested buildings, and in the current update, update 11, the anti-tank gun can also be really useful and impactful. The bazooka and the Panzerschreck come standard with 2 rockets in your loadout and can be resupplied once with an explosive ammunition box. Before we go over where to hit the tank, I will go over on how to aim the bazooka with high accuracy. For each type there are different techniques to align the bazooka or Panzerschreck with a ping on the map. The max range you can shoot a bazooka is 725 meters. And everything further than that, the rocket will just disappear into Narnia. To aim the bazooka, we're going to make use of a carefully placed ping. When you aim down sight with the bazooka, on first glance there isn't really a way to calculate distance or where to aim, unless you make use of that well-placed ping. For example, if we want to shoot the bazooka at 100 meters dead accurate, we place a ping on our target and align the ping with the inner part of the circle. Fire off the bazooka and you will hit 100 meters every single time. We can do this for all kinds of different distances, and the same technique applies to the Panzerschreck. To hit 105 meters every single time with the Panzerschreck, we place a ping and align the ping with the revit and then fire away. Now, don't worry about memorizing all these pings, there's a link to the different alignments in the description. And when you're playing AT, my advice is put this up on your second screen or go really old school, print it out, hang it somewhere. Start by practicing and memorizing the 100 to 200 meter alignment points, since you will be using these ones the most in-game. It is also possible to shoot well over 200 meters. If we want to aim past 200 meters, we will have to make use of the Garand or Kar98 to align it. You can use different markings on the Garand or Kar98 to line up different shots that can go well beyond 200 meters. You can use the following markings on a Garand, and again, don't worry about memorizing the different markers, these will also be included in the link in the description below. Once you align the markings on your Garand, swap to the bazooka and fire away. Also, make sure you don't move the mouse to avoid any misalignment. With the Panzerschreck we got a bit more freedom to align ourselves with pings, since the Panzerschreck has more details where we can align it with. We only use the Kar98 for 2 distances, namely 405 meters and 500 meters. The same goes for the Kar98, don't move the mouse to misalign it and miss your shot. At the start I was really struggling to remember all the different alignment points, and what really helped me is to start practicing and memorizing the 100 to 200 meter shots and get a good feel for this. At a certain point this will become ingrained in your muscle memory, you will get a good feel for it and it becomes second nature to align it properly. Learning this can also be really useful to take out OP's garrisons at a safe distance, and it will only take 1 rocket to blow up a garrison. You can also use it to aim for windows and take out those annoying machine gunners sitting in the window and preventing your team to push up. The level 3 loadout comes with a wrench and lets you place an AT gun. It will require 50 supplies to set up and hammer the AT gun. With the latest update, update 11, the AT gun became really viable to use. You can pull off some crazy things with the AT gun, like Core did in their game against the Line. They pulled off a 1200 meter AT gun shot and blew up the transport truck, heading for the midpoint. When setting up an AT gun, keep in mind you can hide it behind bushes and so on. You don't need a clear line of sight to your target, you just need a ping and a clear travel route for your round. Also, you can cover well over 1000 meters with the AT gun, although this requires some practice to get a good feel for it. Be creative with placing the AT gun and place it in dirty spots where you can hit an enemy tank, garrison or whatever. Keep in mind that the AT gun uses 5 ammunition per round, so check if there is enough ammunition on your team to use. You will want to leave some ammunition for the commander and the artillery to use. When it comes to aiming with the AT gun, it is pretty straightforward. It almost doesn't have any drop-off over distance. The Satchel Charge, my favorite to kill enemy players and accidentally team kill players, but get back to that later. Satchel comes with the level 6 ambusher loadout, and per default you only get one. Same as the bazooka and Panzerschreck, you can replenish this once with explosive ammo. Satchel charges placed on a tank will blow up any tank, no matter if it's a light, medium or heavy tank. Satchel charges can also be used to clear out buildings, garrisons and so on. You can even blow up a tank with a satchel placed 12 meters in front or the back of a tank and 4 meters to each side of a tank. The fun part of this effect goes through walls and corners of buildings. In other words, as an AT player you can use this to your advantage. If you see a stationary tank, place the satchel next to it behind the wall or the corner of a building. This is especially useful when playing on maps like Quarantine or St. Mary Glees. If you are struggling to get a satchel on the back of a tank, just place it within 4 meters to each side or 12 meters to the front or back of a tank. To place a satchel charge, make sure the outline is green, and then you can set the fuse to either 30, 60 or 120 seconds, whatever the situation requires. Me personally, I only tend to use the 30-second fuse. Once you place a satchel charge, shout in proximity and squad chat that you placed a satchel on your target, since a satchel has a kill radius of at least 20 meters plus, and for some reason friendly players will flock towards the satchel charge, so be prepared to pick up a few team kills with a satchel. This is just bound to happen and don't feel too bad about it. The satchel can also be placed on buildings, walls or in the proximity of a garrison to blow everything up in a radius of 20 plus meters. Especially on a map St. Mary Glees, where buildings like the church are always crawling with enemy players, you can just stick a satchel on the wall of the building and it will blow everything up inside the building. Don't forget to warn other players that there is a satchel about to blow up, and once the satchel goes off it will blow everything in the proximity and inside the building. The level 6 ambusher loadout also comes with AT mines. There are two ways a tank interacts with mines. If a tank runs over the mine with the tracks, it will deal damage to the tracks and the hull. And if a tank runs over the mine with the body or chassis, the mine will also explode and deal much more damage to the hull. Mines in update 11 do not deal proximity damage. The tank will have to drive over it and there is no use in blowing it up with grenades anymore. If you see a stationary tank, you can place the mines behind the tank, under the body and then smoke out the tank and hope it reverses over your mine. Recon vehicles and light tanks require 1 mine under the body. Medium and heavy tanks will require 2 AT mines to the body. When dealing with a medium or heavy, place and chain at least 2 AT mines. When placing AT mines, you can place them on roads that generate heavy traffic or in other common areas where a tank or truck is most likely to pass through. Try to hide the AT mines in rubble or a dark spot to make them harder to spot and take out. When it comes to taking out a tank with a bazooka or a Panzerschreck, it is really important to know where to shoot. Ideally, with a bazooka or Panzerschreck, you want to be behind the tank and shoot the rockets straight up the rear of a tank. Before we dive into that, where to hit the tank, there's one mechanic I want you to be aware of. The projectile can ricochet on the tank and deal no damage to the hull at all, which is a waste of a precious round. To understand how and why a projectile can ricochet on a tank, it is important to know that there are multiple factors at play. It can depend on the velocity of your projectile, the thickness and hardness of the plate on the tank, and the angle you are shooting at. The most important thing to remember about this: avoid slanted surfaces. If your round ricochets, you can both see and hear it. The round will not create a sparking effect and it will create a unique audio effect that sounds something like a large barrel being hit with a mallet. Now we got that out of the way, let's go over where you can hit a tank effectively and how many shots it will take. In general, the key areas where to hit a tank is basically the same all over the place. There are a few key differences. So let's start off with the American bazooka and where to hit the German tanks. If you are trying to take out a Puma, avoid shooting at the turret or tracks, since it will take you multiple shots to completely destroy it. Instead, aim for the body and it doesn't matter if you hit it in the side, front or rear, it will take 1 rocket to destroy. When it comes to medium and heavy tanks, ideally you will want to hit it in the rear. If you hit it in any other spot, it will ricochet or take up a lot of rockets to destroy it, which you most likely won't have available to you. The Panzer IV takes 2 rockets to the rear to destroy, and the Tiger will take 3 rockets to the rear to destroy. In most cases, when dealing with a Tiger tank, I prefer to take a satchel and take it out that way. If you're struggling to get behind a Panzer IV or a Tiger tank, you can try and shoot out the tracks. The Panzer IV will take 2 direct hits to the track and a Tiger 3 hits. If you take out the tracks, it will be stuck in this place and someone else can swoop in and finish it off for you. When it comes to the American tanks, most of the targets are the same with a few key differences. Greyhound is the same as the Puma and it will only take 1 rocket to the front side or rear plate. When trying to take out the Stuart, the front, side and rear plates are the places to go for. The turret and tracks will take more rockets than you have ammunition for in a lifetime. When dealing with the Jumbo 75 or 76, avoid hitting it from any other place than the rear or the side plate, and it will take you 3 rockets to take out. The Russian anti-tank rifle works a bit differently, since it's an anti-tank rifle. It has no damage drop-off at range. It does however have some bullet drop, which we'll have to take in account for. It also has no optics, but a skilled shooter can fire it accurately over 400 meters plus. If you look at this damage table, the Puma only takes 6 shots to the front, side, turret or rear, and avoid hitting the tracks. Just aim for the body and you should be good to take it out in 6 shots. The Panzer IV and the Tiger can only be hit from the rear or the tracks. You'll need to find a good spot to unload magazine after magazine. What you can do is take out the engine and then finish the job. The Panzer IV takes 5 shots to the engine and the Tiger will take 6 shots to the engine. For the Panzer IV you will want to carefully aim at the canister on the back to take out the engine, everywhere else will just deal hull damage. If the Tiger or Panzer IV manage to turn around before you take out the engine, you're basically docked as a Soviet AT player. Trucks and half-tracks can be taken out with 1 well-placed rocket or 6 shots of the Soviet AT rifle. For trucks you will want to hit the cabin, and for half-tracks just aim for the body to take it out. To quickly recap, when engaging a light tank like a Greyhound or Puma, aim dead center at the body and not the tracks or the turret, and this will allow you to one-shot it. When trying to take out a medium tank, aim for the side plate or rear plate and you will be able to take it out in 2 rockets. The only way you're going to take out a heavy tank like the Tiger or the Sherman Jumbo 76 is to hit it in the rear end with 3 rockets. Although you can annoy the Tiger crew because 2 rockets to the rear can disable the engine. Moving on to AT guns, all AT guns can kill a half-track or a truck with 1 well-placed shot to the engine. When it comes to tanks you don't have to worry about ricochets, since you can take out most tanks with 1 or 2 shots. For recon and light tanks it doesn't matter where you aim, it will just take you 1 round to destroy it. For medium or heavies it takes 2 or 3 rounds depending on where you hit it. The only place where it will take you 3 rounds is the turret. So try to aim at the front, side or rear plate. Be careful though, when operating an AT gun you're immobile, and once you get spotted by a tank they will blow you up with 1 shot. With a gunner and loader on the AT gun you can fire much faster than a tank. It takes roughly 4 seconds to fire and load a shell, so use this to your advantage. As per usual, and last but not least, a few tips and tricks you can apply when playing the AT class. Patience is really important when it comes to playing AT. How many times have you seen a class with a satchel running after a tank, or an AT player shooting off a rocket when they spot a tank? Instead, take a few seconds to set yourself up for success. Try to get behind the tank or try to predict where it will be going and take it from there. With the bazooka or Panzerschreck you will only have 2 rounds unless there is explosive ammo near you. Every round counts and make sure you create the best opportunity for yourself. The classes that can drop explosive ammo are the support classes and the max level rifleman on German side. An experienced tank crew will have a crew member jump out the second they get hit with a bazooka or Panzerschreck. They will try to take you out before you fire off another round. What I tend to do is fire off a rocket into the rear of a tank, swap to my main weapon and hold the right side of the tank to see if any of the crew members will jump out and kill you whilst you are reloading. The crew members of a tank will always exit on the right side of the tank, so you can pre-aim this angle and hold it. If you have a friendly player near you, you can ask them to keep an eye out while you reload. There's a resource you can use when it comes to playing AT called the Tank Bible. Although it's made for tankers, but chapter 3 of the Tank Bible covers a lot of in-depth material when it comes to playing AT, and I highly suggest you giving it a read if you want to know more about playing anti-tank in general. You can find the link in the description below. As always, I hope you learned a thing or two from this guide, and I wish you the best of luck applying this on the battlefield. Feel free to leave a comment with any questions or feedback you may have. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.